Okay, well, thank you. This podcast is about you and your journey in music and how you got to where you are now. Why don't you tell us about where you were born and raised?
I'm born in San Antonio, Texas, and I've lived here all my life, and I probably plan to stay here.
Very cool. Very cool. You travel quite a bit then.
Before COVID, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm hoping I can get back to that. My best friend lived in New York for 4 years and then LA. So I rely on him to travel. I get free places to stay.
There you go. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, tell me about how you got into music.
I started playing piano when I was 6 years old, I think.
Oh, wow.
My mom was we're trying out different things. She's like, why don't you try soccer? Why don't you try gymnastics? And I took to piano. Okay. And I just kept learning. I eventually started playing guitar when I was 13. And then I wrote my first song on the guitar, which I'll never release.
Why not?
It's just so cheesy, but it's cute.
Well, obviously you remember it. That's cool.
I still remember it. Yeah. My mom, everyone could still sing it. I would bring my guitar to middle school and I'd play it on like early release days. It's so funny how many people still remember it. But and then early high school, I got Logic Pro and I just started getting into producing. I was really inspired by Kid Cudi a lot. I think that's where my I kind of have like a trip hop sound to my debut album, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I majored in sound recording technology in college. I was the only girl in my major.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then
real quick, where did you go to college?
Oh, Texas State.
Texas State?
My dog's mad. Hang on.
That's okay. Uh-oh, your dog has a cone. What happened?
He has really bad allergies. He won't leave his bites alone. He keeps biting.
Oh, my dog. That's funny you say that because we just moved to Nashville from San Diego, and we took him to the vet, and the veterinarian was like, yeah, like just heads up, like your dog, if you're in a new spot, your dog might have allergies. And we're like, okay. And she's like, well, if he starts biting at his hands and if it gets really bad, you're gonna have to put him a cone.
Yeah, I feel so bad for him.
Oh,
he keeps trying to eat stuff off the floor and he'll go like completely vertical. I keep calling him the Pixar lamp.
Oh, that's funny. The Pixar lamp.
But oh my gosh. Well, I eventually had to drop out of college because I got sick.
Benadryl? Sorry, no doggy Benadryl you can give him or anything?
We give him half a Benadryl.
Oh, do you really? Is it
it's starting to wear off right now, I can tell.
Okay, sorry, back to your music.
It's okay.
So did you get into school? Was there like an audition process or you just took that?
You had to apply and only 12 people get accepted a year, I think. And people from all over the country apply. So it was really exciting when I got accepted.
That's huge. What did you have to do to apply?
You had to fill out an application and send in some work you've done before. So I sent in a few songs for my debut album before it was released. And I was scared because they weren't like mixed and mastered yet very well. And I was like, oh, I mixed it the best I know. And they're like, it's very good. Come on in.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
I was so excited. I was only there for a year though. I eventually got sick and I had to drop out.
Are you okay? That's
yeah, I'm okay now. It took a few years to figure out that I have a bunch of autoimmune diseases. I have MTHFR disorder and celiac disease, and I have chronic gastritis. And I didn't know what was going on. So I was getting really, really sick. I was just like fainting and throwing up every day. And I was like, well, I shouldn't be here, but it's okay. It led to like other opportunities. I realized I didn't want to be a mixing and mastering engineer. I wanted to just focus on the creative part. I just threw too many tantrums. I don't. And then I ended up meeting a really good mixing and mastering engineer. So I feel blessed.
That's cool. So once you like kind of dropped out, or once you were kind of forced to drop out, did you just continue writing music or writing songs?
Well, when I was in school, I realized I didn't have any time to actually work on my album. It took me 7 years to finish it. I started it in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then by the time I got to college, I was like, I have 8 a.m.s every day. I'm doing homework till like 3 or 4 in the morning every night. Like I was just not getting to work on it. And so that's when I decided I'm just going to go full force and work on this album. I worked at a sushi place and worked on my album every day.
Wow. That's cool.
Got to release it 2 years ago.
Yeah. Lithium is the debut record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. So it was a 7-year project. What was it like when you finished? Like, I mean, must have been a big moment.
Yeah, it was so relieving. I got to have my album release party at this venue called Paper Tiger in San Antonio. And it was around Halloween time. So I made it a costume party too.
Oh,
And I got to
cool.
perform as Beetlejuice. And it was so cool. It was my first like real performance ever. And I was so nervous. I was like, I'm just gonna play a character. So I was just like super obnoxious being Beetlejuice the whole time.
That's cool. So you were just mainly focusing on writing and recording the record. You weren't doing shows and stuff around that.
Not really. That was my first real show, was my release show. I'd done like a few
Wow.
parties before, but it was just not that many people. And like it's like 70 to 100 people came. It was so exciting.
That's huge.
All these people believe in me.
That's amazing. And once you released a record and you got that first show kind of under your belt, you talked about traveling quite a bit. Were you touring or?
I was planning to, but then COVID came pretty quick.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I mean 2019 the record came out. Yeah. When did the record come out? What month?
October.
Oh yeah, because you had the costume party.
And then I released a follow-up single. The album was kind of about like dealing with bipolar disorder before I was diagnosed. So between that and my autoimmune diseases, it was just like,
oh my gosh, you had a lot going on. It's a lot to handle.
Then,
wow.
I finally got diagnosed with my autoimmune diseases and my mental health. And so my follow-up single was called Found It. And it's about like finding my brain.
Oh, wow.
And I released that in February. And I was planning to start like traveling and playing shows. And then COVID hit like in March.
Oh my God. Okay. So you just finished that new song. You were getting ready to do this. And then just taking on all of that. I mean, the bipolar disorder and the autoimmune disorder. And then now you're stuck inside for a year plus. Like, is that hard to kind of to handle and get through?
It was at first. And then I started seeing a psychiatrist and a therapist. And I finally got my meds right. I was on the wrong meds and wrong dose for so long.
Sure.
So it was
that's like a process in itself, like a trial and error. I mean, and the error part of it is like ridiculous, right?
Kind of a blessing in disguise. I got a year to just like figure out my health.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm like, all right, I'm ready for the world.
That's awesome. And
Vaxxed up and ready to go.
Vaxxed up and ready to go. So you obviously put out a song this year, but you put out another song in 2019 called Retail Therapy. What was that one about?
I was okay. Also, I went through a really bad breakup in 2019, and then
oh my gosh,
so
you just got smashed.
I did. Retail Therapy was when I was like starting to feel better. I was like wanting to like start dressing cute again, feeling good about myself. And there's a vintage store my friends own in San Antonio called The Come Up. And I always buy sweaters from them, especially around my birthday. It's like my thing to get a new sweater every birthday. This guy, Teddy Andreas, I bought a beat from him and I just like looped them in the car as I'm driving to write lyrics to. And as I was leaving the store with my new sweater, I was just like, pull up and come up in my brand new sweater. And I just wrote a song about buying clothes and getting cute.
I love it. That's a great song though. I mean, your work is awesome.
Thank you.
And then your most recent song that you put out was called Come Here. Tell me about that song. You have a video for it and everything else?
That song I've been holding on to for 5 years. It was
really?
Yeah, it was going to be on my debut album, but I realized it's a 6-minute song. Like it's like a whole project in itself.
Sure.
And it also wasn't necessarily it wasn't cohesive with the album because I was more like trip hop and this is more like R&B and jazzy. So, and I was just I'm so obsessed with the song that it had to be perfect. I re-recorded the vocals like 3 different times in the years. I've had 8 different vocal coaches.
My gosh.
Like, no, the song's not good enough. It's not good enough. So I kept re-recording them. And I finally got to hire a saxophonist and trumpeter for it. I was just taking a very long time to make sure it's absolutely perfect. And then I got my friend Alex Toomey to mix it and Joe Laporta to master it. And it's just finally perfect. And I got to release it.
That's bold though. A 6-minute song. Were people telling you like you should cut it down or you just didn't care what anyone else thought?
I cut the music video down for sure. I wasn't about to film for 6 minutes. And we filmed the music video in this hotel called the Manger Hotel. It's right next to the Alamo in San Antonio.
Wow.
And it's a haunted hotel. It's like known for being haunted. And we definitely figured that out. But I only booked
figured that out. Did you get some like,
oh God,
like
it was so scary.
Tell me about that. I'm fascinated. I used to watch that show Ghost Hunters all the time.
Watch it.
Oh, really?
That's with I forget his last name, Zach though.
Zach, yeah.
Like 2 nights ago. But I booked this suite, the Teddy Roosevelt suite, because I got this green robe that from this designer Catherine Delish. I was so obsessed with it. And I was like, all right, the music video has to be all green. So I found this suite there, the Teddy Roosevelt suite. And I only wanted to book it for one night because it was super expensive. So we had to pull an all-nighter to do the music video. We started recording at like 3 p.m. and we didn't finish till 7 a.m. the next morning.
Wow.
And we waited to do the hallway scenes until like 4 or 5 because we wanted to make sure like no one was awake. We didn't tell the hotel or anything we were doing a music video. We didn't want to get like kicked out. We didn't know their like policy.
Right. So, you want to make sure that you got the like the ghost vibes. Yeah. Make sure the ghosts are out.
Yeah. We waited to do the hallway scenes then so no one would like catch us.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so scary. My best friend played the bellhop and he had to wait like all the way down the hallway while we were getting the scene of him like walking up with the flowers. And he kept texting. He's like, please hurry. I'm so scared. He's like, someone's coming. And I was like, no one's coming. He's like, I hear footsteps. I hear voices. And like, he'd go check and no one was there. And you hear this like deep man's voice and like doors open and close when like nothing was there. And I was like, yeah, right. And then later I had to go film in the hallway scene. We were doing this like spinning pull away scene. And you literally see me and my videographer like turn around multiple times. We only did 2 takes because we were scared.
Because it was that scary?
Yeah, we're like, let's go.
Oh my gosh.
They even have like haunted tours there too. They'll like tell you ghost stories throughout the hotel. And the person who took us to our room, I went to like scope it out a few months in advance.
No. Yeah, I was gonna ask, did you take like the haunted tour to kind of figure out
the
lay of the land?
No.
Oh.
The person who was like taking us to the room was telling us stories too. She's like, I hear a ghost calling my name. You'll see like doors and cabinets open and close. She said the bellhop cart was just pushed down the hallway in front of her one time. I was like, you gotta be lying.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, scary. I don't know why Ghost Adventures hasn't been there yet. I feel like I should email them.
I know, that is crazy. They haven't. I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say, yeah, then they did an episode there already, and like, no, but they haven't. Wow. So it was like the Teddy Roosevelt suite. You said Teddy Roosevelt suite. Was that like is that like a haunted room in the hotel?
Not that I heard of specifically, but every time we heard scary noises, we'd be like, oh, Teddy, even though like he didn't die there or anything.
He never stayed there. Yeah.
He did.
He stayed there. He just didn't die there.
Yeah, he stayed in that suite, so that's why they named it after him.
Okay.
Obviously, he didn't die there, but we were just like, oh, Teddy, every time something scary happened.
Oh my, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you said you took piano lessons early on, but are you still writing on piano, or you were talking about buying like a beat from somebody and doing like the top line?
I produced my whole album myself. I normally write songs on the piano first, unless I'm like experimenting with like producing beats. But normally lyrics will come to me and I just try to figure out the whole song on the piano and then I'll produce. But when I was in between moving back home from San Marcos, where I went to Texas State at, I just didn't really have a place to produce for a while. I eventually got a studio in this town called Bernie, which is like 20 minutes away from me.
Yeah, it looks like you're in a studio. I mean, you have soundproofing there behind you.
Bedroom.
Oh, really? Wow.
I soundproofed it recently so I could stop paying for studio time.
There you go. That's smart.
Yeah, but for like a few months I didn't have a place to produce and a bunch of people were like reaching out to me. And so when I recorded that song Found It, this producer 215, it's just sent me a folder of beats on Twitter and he wasn't expecting me to respond and I was like, these are fire, I'll take one. And then I was watching Parasite one day and I saw Teddy Andreas released a beat pack and I was like, pause the movie, I have to listen to this. And I found one I really loved and I just impulse bought it. I was like, did I regret this? And then like 2 days later, I was like, no, this is the best song ever.
That's awesome.
But now I'm back to producing my sophomore album too. So I'm I took like a few years off from producing. I was scared that I like lost it. And then once I like got to sit down in my new office, like the first day there, I made a beat and I was like, no, I'm good at producing.
I got this. Well, with the song "Come Here," you said that song you had for what, 5 years?
I produced that a long time ago. I was just perfecting it for so long.
Perfecting it. Was there a reason behind that?
It's just so good. I just wanted it to reach its potential, and I wanted all the instruments to be real, because when they're MIDI, it just doesn't give off the same like especially because it's such like a big introduction. You just hear like all this brass and horns like as soon as the beat comes in, and I was like, that has to sound like real.
Yeah, for sure. And then I did read, you founded a charity festival?
I lost my grandpa to pancreatic cancer when I was 13.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you. But then I joined the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network of San Antonio. It's such a long title. For a while, we were just fundraising money for the annual 5K Purple Stride we have every year. And I sing the national anthem at that too. It's always so cold, so I don't sing it well there.
That's a hard one to sing.
It's so hard to sing cold. I want to sing indoors one day. I'd like to do it.
Well, just the song, just the anthem in general is brutal.
When it's in a warm room, I'm like, wow, I didn't know I could hit these notes so well. And then it's cold, I'm like, oh, I'm embarrassed. But anyways, I wanted to start involving my music for the charity as well, because my grandpa would play guitar with me all the time. He was the one who would tell me like, keep at this, you got something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You'd play music with him, and like what, he would play guitar, you'd sing?
Yeah, well, both. I'd bring my guitar with me and he'd like show me songs he played on guitar, and I'd show him new songs I learned every time. I eventually started showing him songs I wrote.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like what would you guys play?
His favorite song is Pancho and Lefty, the version with Merle actually he liked the Emily Lou version. I think I said her name right. But there's a Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson version. And that's his favorite song. And I learned it for him, and I played it for him like right before he passed. And it's the only time anyone's ever seen him cry. So I felt special.
Wow, that's a pretty special moment.
I got the lyric tattooed on me, "Out of kindness, I suppose," was the like the
chorus. I love it.
Yeah. But eventually I decided to like bring our passion together to help raise awareness and fundraise for that charity. So I call it Purple Palooza. And I have a lot of local artists come out every year that just want to help out and then perform for free. So we just fundraise money with ticket sales, or we have vendors come out and sell artwork or some vintage clothes sometimes. And that's how I fundraise for it. Everyone has teams for the 5K. Mine's called Papa's Promise. He's my papa. And so all the money from that I put into my team. And then at the 5K, they have competitions for like who raised the most money. And you get like a cool jacket or something.
Wow. And you started that whole thing. Wow, that's really incredible. Were you able to do it this past year with like COVID and everything?
I was debating doing like a virtual thing, but that seems like so much work. I was like, let's just take a break off. I'm good at like producing and creative stuff, but when it comes to like techie stuff, I was like, I don't want to figure all this out.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take on.
I'm hoping we can get back to it this year. I think we do it in like probably October, sometime in the fall, just because I'm hoping everything's like safe.
It looks like it's
because a lot of things are opening back up now.
Big festivals announced and everything else. So hopefully, yeah, you'll be able to get that festival up and I kind of have like an
in now at that venue that I put on my album release party. So I'd like to do it there again. It's just a really cool venue.
That's cool. With the new song "Come Over," is that going to be a part of your sophomore record?
No, I debated it for a while too, but I think it's because the sophomore album's actually about that breakup, and it like starts out like down bad, and then it's just like a healing over time thing. And
kind of like a concept record.
If you listen to it in order, it just like tells a story. I'm hoping like it'll be like a coping album for people, or like a comfort album if they're going through the same thing. But that song just like has nothing to do with it. And I was like,
sure,
I'm holding on to this for way too long. I was like, let's just get it out there for now, and then I'll get back. Yeah.
Have you been like, because of the quarantine, have you been able to spend quite a bit of time working on your next record?
Not as much as I'd like to. I've been focusing more on my paintings. That the office I have in Bernie is one room is a painting studio and the other one's a music studio. And I had to like focus on my paintings just to like make profit to pay rent there for now.
Oh, wow. So you do painting as well?
Mm-hmm. It started out doing like portrait paintings for people's pets. Everyone like that, like is my steady commission. Everyone loves their pet portraits. And I've moved on to like human realism and abstract paintings. My favorite one I'm working on right now is a still from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Wow.
It's from an episode where they're at a gas station robbery, or they're at a gas station during a robbery. It's just so funny to paint the whole cast. It's coming out so good though.
Wow. I'm looking at I'm on your commission art on your Instagram. Whoa, these are amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Has that always been something that was a passion of yours? Obviously I mean, you're incredible at it. So was that something you've always done?
I only started painting 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So how did you find out that you can do this so well?
I was in art in school and I sketch a lot, but we never like did paintings. And I was like, I'm really good at drawing. I'm sure painting's like similar. You just put colors on it and like shade the same. And one day I was just like, well, I would do abstract paintings of my Lithium logo. I'd just do like the Lithium element. I'd put it in tape on a painting, but you just mix colors, mix paints with this medium called Liquitex, and it makes it like flowy. And I just put it on the canvas and like flow it around. And then after you dry, you like rip off the tape. So I did those for a while for a lot of people, especially like around the album release. But 2 years ago, I was like, I bet I could paint a dog. So I just painted this dog, Romo. He's right here. He's not even my dog. I'm a dog sitter, and he was my favorite one of my clients. And oh wait, let me try to get a.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen that. That was like the first one I saw on your. But the one of the black dog. Oh my gosh, it looks like a photo.
Oh yeah, that's my weekly client. Her name's Trouble.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you always have that. I mean, how amazing you are painting.
My fallback.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. Well, okay, so you're working on those, and then you're working on the sophomore record as well?
Mm-hmm. I realized it's difficult to produce there because I record here. This is my mom's house, and then I would try to produce as much as I can there, but it's such a hassle of like traveling back and forth to do it. And I'm used to just like sitting down and making a song. Like a lot of the songs in my album, I just make like in the middle of the night. In the morning, I'd be like, hey mom, I wrote a song. I produced a whole song. You want to hear it? So it's just been frustrating to record it this way. But so I decided to not renew my lease at the office, and I'm finding an apartment right now. And then I just work so better if I work where I live. So I'm excited. Once I get there, I'm just gonna be like, let's make an album.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear it. And what you're doing right now is incredible. So thank you so much for taking time to talk with me today.
Of course. The whole album's written, by the way. It's just not produced.
Oh my gosh. So all the songs are ready.
Yeah. So it'll be quick. I'm just like, okay, every day I'm just going to produce a new one. So I think I'll make it quick. It won't take 7 years.
It only took 7 years.
Yeah. It'll hopefully just take like a few months.
There you go. Very cool. Well, I have one more question for you. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. I always say my motto is it never hurts to ask. There's so many connections I've been making in the industry lately just by being like, hey, do you have advice on this? Would you like to work with me? And if they say no, like, who cares? But that's how I met one of my good friends, Alex Toomey now. I just sent him that song Retail Therapy, really not expecting him to respond at all. And I was just like, hey, here's a song. I was interested in you mixing it. And I just sent like a bunch of information about the song and like the stems. And I was just like, well, we'll just see. And like a week later, he's like, I love this. I'd love to do it. And I was like, are you kidding me? And now he's become one of my good friends. We play Call of Duty all the time, and he's like introducing me to people. It's just really helpful. It's like the biggest connection I have to the industry, all because I was just like, hey, you want to do this?
Yeah.
So it never hurts to ask. Just don't be weird about it.
Bringing it backwards.